Good morning, everyone. Welcome out to the commissioning ceremony of the USS Iowa. Would everyone please take your seats? We're about to get underway.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome you to Submarine Base New London and the commissioning of USS Iowa. I am Lieutenant Commander Scott Carper, the ship's executive officer. On behalf of the crew of your submarine Iowa, I would like to express our sincere gratitude for you joining us here today. Before our celebration begins, please silence your cell phones. Thank you. We are here today to celebrate the commissioning of USS Iowa, the third ship to bear the name of the Hawkeye State. The first USS Iowa was a pre-dreadnought battleship built for the United States Navy in the mid-1890s. The ship was designed to operate on the high seas and was armed with a battery of 4 12-inch guns and 2 twin-gun turrets, supported by a secondary battery of 8 8-inch guns. Upon entering service in June 1897, Iowa conducted training operations in the Atlantic Ocean before moving to the Caribbean in early 1898 as tensions between the United States and Spain over Cuba grew. At the outbreak of the Spanish-American War, the ship took part in the bombardment of San Juan, Puerto Rico, where Iowa assisted in the destruction of 3 of the 4 Spanish cruisers. Iowa was modernized between 1908 and 1910. She thereafter served as a training ship for naval midshipmen from the United States Naval Academy and for naval militia crews. Removed from service in 1913 and decommissioned in 1914, she was reactivated after the United States entered World War I in April 1917. She was decommissioned again in 1919. The second commissioned USS Iowa, BB-61, was the lead ship of her class. During World War II, she carried President Franklin D. Roosevelt across the Atlantic to meet with Prime Minister Winston Churchill of the United Kingdom and Joseph Stalin, leader of the Soviet Union. When transferred to the Pacific Fleet in 1944, Iowa shelled beachheads at Kwajalein and Eniwetok in advance of Allied amphibious landings and screened aircraft carriers operating in the Marshall Islands. She also served as the 3rd Fleet flagship, flying Admiral William F. Halsey's flag at the Japanese surrender in Tokyo Bay. During the Korean War, Iowa was involved in raids on the North Korean coast, where she earned the nickname the Gray Ghost. After the Korean War, she decommissioned into the United States Navy Reserve Fleet. She was reactivated in 1984 as part of the 600-ship Navy plan and operated in both the Atlantic and Pacific fleets to counter the recently expanded Soviet Navy. Iowa was decommissioned for the last time in October 1990. We are delighted to have several former crew members of the 2nd Iowa here today. Gentlemen, please stand and be recognized. Would all active duty, veterans, and first responders please stand? Would all military and first responder families please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service and sacrifice. Additionally, we are honored to have several Gold Star families with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, we recognize the significance of your loved one's sacrifice to our nation. Thank you. We are also excited to welcome members of the Royal Australian Navy. Please be seated. The new Iowa, moored before you, affectionately referred to as a boat by members of the submarine community and the crew, will soon join America's silent service. SSN 797 is a Virginia-class submarine, and with her sister ships, she represents a revolution in submarine design, construction, and mission capability. Brimming with cutting-edge technology and advanced engineering, this vessel brings versatility and firepower to the fleet. Iowa and the Virginia-class are among the most effective platforms in the United States Navy, and this warship takes another step forward in advancing the superiority of our submarine force. Capable of operating in the far corners of the world's oceans undetected while connected to air, sea, and land-based forces, these submarines are equipped to wage multidimensional warfare around the globe. Iowa's adaptability makes it highly responsive to changing mission requirements and provides the nation with the capabilities required to be a decisive factor in any conflict. In addition to anti-submarine warfare, anti-surface ship warfare, and counter mine warfare, Iowa will support surveillance, special operations, and covert strike missions. Construction began on the submarine you see behind me in August 2019, and she was christened on June 17, 2023, down the Thames River at General Dynamics Electric Boat. Today, USS Iowa is tested and battle ready. We are all very proud to serve on the newest attack submarine in the United States Navy. Thank you for allowing each of us the privilege to serve our nation as a part of your Navy. Hallelujah. The commissioning ceremony is a time-honored tradition that began with the commissioning of the Navy's first ship, a captured British schooner, the Margareta, in 1775. Since then, thousands of ships have undergone the transition from silent hull to a fully alive warship. My shipmates, our crew, hereafter referred to as plank owners, are in formation and ready. In just a few moments, Navy Band Northeast and the submarine base New London Saluting Battery will render honors to the Honorable Richard Blumenthal and the Honorable Kim Reynolds. Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the arrival of our official party, honors, the presentation of colors, our national anthem, and the invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, our platform guests. Lieutenant Commander Joseph McGraw, Chaplain Corps, United States Navy, our ceremony chaplain. Commander Tim Shugart, United States Navy, retired, our long glass presenter. Captain Doug McCrae, United States Navy, retired, Chairman, USS Iowa Commissioning Committee. Captain Mike Hollenbach, United States Navy, Program Manager, Virginia-class submarine program. Captain Brian Heberly, United States Navy, Supervisor of Shipbuilding, Groton. Captain Jason Grizzle, United States Navy, Commander, Submarine Squadron 4. Mr. Mark Reha, President, General Dynamics Electric Boat. Rear Admiral Jonathan Rucker, United States Navy, Program Executive Officer, Attack Submarines. Vice Admiral Robert M. Goucher, United States Navy, Commander, Submarine Forces. Admiral Darrell Caudle, United States Navy, Commander, U.S. Fleet Forces Command, Commander, U.S. Naval Forces Northern Command, Commander, U.S. Naval Forces Strategic Command. The Honorable John Phelan, the 79th Secretary of the Navy. The Honorable Marionette Miller Meeks, United States Representative, State of Iowa, 1st District. The Honorable Joe Courtney, United States Representative, State of Connecticut, 2nd District. The Honorable Kim Reynolds, Governor, State of Iowa. Ladies and gentlemen, our ship's sponsor, Mrs. Christy Vilsack, escorted by Master Chief Petty Officer Dexter Buckley, Iowa's Chief of the Boat. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Richard Blumenthal, United States Senator, State of Connecticut, escorted today by Commander Greg Coy, Iowa's commanding officer. Ladies and gentlemen, honors to the Honorable Richard Blumenthal and the Honorable Kim Reynolds. Platform and salute. Platform. Ready? 2. Advance the colors. Platform. And salute.
Colors, turn. Reset. Colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Retire the colors.
Color guard. Carry. Colors. Colors. Colors, turn. Forward. March.
Platform. Ready? 2. We'd like to thank Navy Band Northeast, Master Chief Retired Larry Alger, Submarine Base New London Saluting Battery, and the Submarine School Silver Dolphin Color Guard for their participation in our ceremony today. Ladies and gentlemen, Chaplain McGraw will deliver the invocation.
I invite you to join me in prayer. Gracious God, as we joyfully gather here to celebrate this commissioning, we give thanks for the freedom we enjoy, the peace earned and defended by so many, and your goodness in blessing this nation so richly. What a fine Navy day. Gray, cloudy, windy, a little cold. Typically beautiful Gorton weather here at the submarine capital of the world, but at the same time we are grateful that it's not raining. A poet once wrote that no man is an island, and it is true that alone we can do so little, but together we are made strong. Here today are so many from the great state of Iowa, joining friends and family from across this great nation, allies from around the world, industry partners, a crew gathered from every place and background, in a boat which carries a worthy name. We thank you for this embodiment of what we strive for, a unified team building something together, free people serving something greater than themselves, and sacrifice made in pursuit of peace and a bright future. But it's not just those who gather here today from whom we draw strength, for we stand on the shoulders of giants, the sailors who forged our Navy and tested the depths of the sea, the minds that dreamed and the pioneers who made it possible. and all those who once sailed under the name of Iowa and forged the proud legacy which this new submarine continues. We thank you for the privilege to follow in their footsteps, and grant that we might all be worthy of the sacred trust they have passed down. We pray for continued peace. But when in your wisdom you ask us to sail into the storm, we pray for success in every mission and victory in every fight. May this boat and the entire U.S. Navy defend those liberties we prize and ever serve as a deterrent to aggression and a promise of peace. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain McGraw. Will the guests please be seated? Iowa, parade, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Joe Courtney.
Thank you, Lieutenant Commander, and good morning, everyone. It's a great honor for myself and Senator Blumenthal today to welcome our many guests to southeastern Connecticut in our nation's oldest submarine base, Naval Submarine Base, New London. Here, Base Commander Captain Kenneth Gorton and his able team oversee 15 attack submarines, 7,000 sailors, and hundreds of civilian federal workers who are operating at a heel-to-toe tempo with the most demanding skills and proficiency to protect our nation. There is no better place to welcome USS Iowa, the 24th Virginia-class submarine, into the submarine force than this hallowed base, which the Navy stood up in 1867. And to Captain Coy and the crew, please know that the Navy's decision to homeport Iowa here in Gorton means that you are going to be welcomed and honored at the submarine capital of the world for as long as you are stationed here. The presence today of our newly confirmed 79th Secretary of the Navy, Mr. John Phelan, also adds to the gravitas of today's event. As ranking member of the bipartisan House Sea Power Subcommittee, I want to publicly congratulate you on your critical new post, and I can assure you that the subcommittee will work with you to strengthen our nation's sea services, whose mission today is of the highest importance. It is a pleasure also to welcome back to Gorton the outstanding, energetic Iowa Commissioning Committee led today by Governor Reynolds and the submarine sponsor, Christy Vilsack, whose lifetime of public service at home and abroad with USAID did so much to uplift our nation's public good, and whose example will inspire the sailors of Iowa for decades to come. Welcome also to her husband, Tom Vilsack, who visited New England countless times as Secretary of the Agriculture to support our farmers and to support the food insecure. Thank you both for your outstanding work. And finally, welcome to my colleague in the House, Congresswoman Marionette Miller Meeks, who I can personally attest is the most ardent fan of Iowa women's college basketball and Caitlin Clark of anyone in the U.S. House of Representatives. Of course, that was a year ago, and today, Paige Beckers and the UConn women are now back in Sunday's final, and it will be my turn to drop the mic. Congratulations to the entire Electric Boat team, to Mark Reha, the new CEO of EB, and your partners from Newport News. Congratulations also to Iowa's commanding officer, Greg Coy, your predecessors, Matt Powell and Quentin James, who kept Iowa's crew working and believing over 6 long years from the keel laying to today's launch that this day would finally arrive. And I want to give a shout out to Iowa's relentless ship manager, Kamal Muhammad, whose talented, cheerful leadership kept all the metal trades, designers, and support teams on task, even in the darkest days of the pandemic, caused by an airborne pathogen that made work inside of a submarine extremely difficult. Kamal, please stand up and be acknowledged. Iowa's successful has lots of good company. Last fall, the 23rd Virginia-class submarine USS New Jersey was commissioned. After today, the 25th, Massachusetts will be commissioned this fall, and in December, Idaho is slated for delivery. Next year, Arkansas and Utah are on deck to join the fleet as well, numbers 27 and 28. This torrent of post-pandemic deliveries is a powerful rebuttal to some who disparage the men and women of our nation's submarine industrial base. They are wrong. Since 2018, Congress has stepped up investment in workforce, facilities, and supply chain all across the country, including Iowa. which today has over $50 million of submarine components coming in, some of them from Marionette's congressional district. In February, I traveled with another Iowa Congressman, Zach Nunn, to the Indo-Pacific region, and we heard from Admiral Samuel Paparo, commander of all U.S. forces in that vast region, that attack submarines are the most critical instrument the U.S. and our democratic allies have in order to deter aggression and keep the peace. In Australia, its leaders in parliament and government foot-stomped the critical importance of AUKUS, the Trilateral Security Alliance, whose centerpiece is to sell and equip the Aussie Navy with nuclear-powered conventional armed attack submarines. We have no better friends and allies than the UK and Australia. Today, we are honored to have the Defense Attaché of the Australian Embassy to the United States in Gorton, Rear Admiral Ian Murray, and also Commander Nick Stratton of the British Navy and Embassy, underscoring the importance of the AUKUS agreement. And I would ask them to please stand and be recognized. Today's event is not only just a profound achievement of this technological marvel, but also the global importance of our commitment to supporting our democratic allies. Best wishes to Commander Officer Coy, Iowa's crew, as you begin your journey to do amazing, important things for our great nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Courtney. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mark Reha.
Good morning. On behalf of the 24,168 employees of Electric Boat, congratulations and welcome to the submarine capital of the world. As you heard earlier, this is a COVID boat. You were introduced to Kamal Muhammad earlier. He led a team of many shipbuilders, both at Newport News and at Electric Boat, to put together a boat during a time when masks, fogged up eyewear, became a thing of every day. But it is another testament to the perseverance and the dedication, the bravery of American shipbuilders. They pushed through it and they continued to build. We did not miss a day of work during COVID, and that is a testament to our shipbuilders. We endured a graving dock pontoon break. We also endured many other hardships during that time. Apologize, it's cold. But this ship, another in a long line of great ships built by United States shipbuilders, 330 subs in total, over 200 nuclear-powered subs. We're making history. We're rebuilding an industrial base that had long been forgotten. Hard work, manufacturing work have been left behind. We're rebuilding that today. The whole supply chain, investment by the Congress, by the Navy, by the entirety of the United States infrastructure is being put to work today. Matt Sermon and his team have taken on an enormous task, but we're doing it. Excuse me. So to the crew of the 797, we work hard every day to make sure that you have the overmatch you need when you go to battle. You have an energetic sponsor, Miss Christy Vilsack, who had a 50-year career in education and public service. And to the CO of the boat, Commander Coy, we wish you and the crew of Iowa a safe and distinguished tour of duty, and may you, as you did as a predecessor boat, the famous Battleship Iowa, this generation of adversaries will learn what it means to fear the ghost. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reha. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Marionette Miller Meeks.
Thank you so much, Commander. To my fellow Representative Courtney, thank you so much for the welcome. And by my size, I look like I would belong more on a nuclear submarine than on a basketball court. But this Army veteran could not be more proud and more excited to be here today. We know that the legend that precedes the 797 with the USS Iowa, the battleship Iowa, is a legend that carries with it both excitement, perseverance, resilience, valor, victory, dedication, and that of a nation that loves freedom and liberty. And so with that, it's our deep gratitude to all of those who were in the process of building and bringing the USS Iowa to us here today. Having heard Representative Courtney on the floor of Congress talking about the submarine capital of the world, we could not be more delighted to have the home port here in Gorton, Connecticut, and know it will be in good hands. To the crew who tested, who persevered, who are there, remember that the legend has gone before you, but today, as we hoist the colors, man the boat, as we bring life to the boat, that your legend and the new legend of the U.S. Iowa starts today. God bless you. God bless the great state of Iowa, and God bless America. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Miller Meeks. Ladies and gentlemen, Admiral Daryl Caudle.
Thank you, XO, and good morning, Gorton. It's chilly out here. It's getting a little bit of life in us. And good morning to the incredible crew of USS Iowa. I just love being back at the submarine capital of the world. It is like a homecoming for me, reconnecting to the nation's center of gravity for the steely-eyed killers of the deep. And today I take great pleasure and immense pride in joining you for the commissioning of the extraordinary warship in front of you, 377 feet of ruthless, silent, and unmatched American strength, built by the grit and determination of American shipyard workers. I would like to welcome and give my sincere thanks to several very important people joining us today. Our ship sponsor, Ms. Christy Vilsack. To our principal speaker, Governor Reynolds, thank you for your ardent support and homegrown Iowa pride. Senator Blumenthal, Congressman Courtney, Congresswoman Miller Meeks, thank you for all your kind words and continued congressional support for America's lethal maritime fighting force. Commander Shugart, you honor us today, sir, when your attendance is you pass the mantle of Iowa to the next generation. Our Secretary of the Navy, the Honorable John Phelan, welcome, sir, and all of our distinguished guests. Thank you all for being here today for this monumentous and wonderful occasion. In this coming year, this crew of proud American sailors will put this warship to sea, carry the name Iowa to the far-flung corners of the globe, projecting combat power for decades to come. It just feels natural for us to have a warship named Iowa back on the Navy Register. For decades, the name Iowa reigned supreme amongst the high seas, bestowed upon the most powerful class of battleships of its time. So it is only fitting that our fleet's newest Iowa is similarly one of the most capable and lethal combat ships in our modern fleet, not to mention silent, deadly, and best part, undetectable. During World War II, the sight of the battleship Iowa looming high on the horizon intimidated our enemies, and rightly so. Now our adversaries will fear the ghost because they cannot see Iowa, always aware that she is out there roaming the seas and stalking her prey. And now for the crew, the fearless warriors before me that make this piece of metal of almost 8,000 tons with hundreds of miles of fiber optic cable and piping systems into a combat ship, a warship designed to decisively win our nation's battles, I offer the following. What you have accomplished in your preparation and execution to get this ship to the commissioning day is nothing short of amazing. Since you completed Fast Cruise last October, your schedule has been demanding, a demanding whirlwind of Alpha trials, Bravo trials, INSERV, ORS, weapon system accuracy trials, UEM trials, and TRACX. Commander Coy, you and your crew have answered the call every step of the way, aggressively knocking out each challenge one after another. Great work, Captain. Your leadership, drive, and execution has made all the difference. My charge to you and your team is keep that tenacity, toughness, and grit going, because the challenges are just going to keep coming. Gone are the days when our fleet's newly commissioned submarines head back down the river to electric boat for post-shakedown availability. Oh no, be prepared for your ship to receive mission tasking before the boat enters PSA. We cannot afford any idle boats waiting on the next milestone. We need every ounce of combat power at sea ready to answer the call. We need all hands on deck, because tasking will come to those who are ready. Earn your dolphins every day, because the future will be demanding. But this highly trained crew of our Navy's finest sailors is ready to meet today's modern threats with overmatched stealth, technology, toughness. As warriors, you are our nation's enduring advantage. Your job is to make the Ghost as valiant as its historic predecessors, always ready to unleash the full potential of this ship's combat power by perfecting your fighting skills with mastery and, most important, with boldness. For the team on board USS Iowa, I know you can do it, and I thank you for your service, your dedication, and your warfighting spirit. May God bless our country. May God bless all of you and your families for the many voyages and victories to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Admiral Caudle. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Richard Blumenthal.
Thank you. Welcome to the submarine capital of the world. Welcome to spring in New England. And if you don't like it today, it'll be different tomorrow. And welcome to the home of the UConn Huskies, the best women's basketball team in the United States of America. You can clap for that. I want to offer my thanks to the 24,168 men and women who make Gorton the submarine capital of the world, who every day come to work and produce the stealthiest, strongest, most versatile, and the most powerful weapons platform that we have in the United States of America, our Virginia-class submarines, and soon to be the Columbia, a vital part of our nuclear triad. You are as important to America's national security as the men and women who wear a uniform, as two of my sons have done, one in the Marine Corps, the other as a Navy SEAL. And the work that you do every day makes us the greatest nation in the history of the world. Thank you to everyone who works at Electric Boat for your great service to our nation. Today is a day of firsts. The Secretary of the Navy is attending his first commissioning of a submarine that is the first built to accommodate women sailors. And that is a landmark and a milestone that we should celebrate. Now, of course, it was planned, the ban was lifted in 2010, it's only taken 15 years, but it is a landmark, and I am very, very proud to be here with the first woman governor of Iowa. I think I'm right about that, am I not? And I would say it's a great day for public service in the Navy, public service in our nation, and we're all proud to mark it today. I was on the floor of the Senate until 3 a.m. this morning, literally, as we did the budget blueprint, the resolution for this coming year. And the reason I mention it is to say I can attest that the support for our Navy is as strong as ever. The support for our submarine undersea warfare force is as strong as ever, because the need for it is more than ever important for our national security. We live in a world that is more dangerous than any time in my life, and we need the men and women as much as the technological marvel that is the Virginia-class submarine. The men and women who serve in our Navy, in our armed forces, are as talented, energetic, dedicated, and patriotic. And I salute you, every one of you in the crew of the Iowa, and all who are in uniform here today, and all of our veterans. Thank you all for your service. And let me just say, finally, the future ahead depends not only on our strength, but on our allies. So I thank the members of the British and the Australian navies who are here today. There is no question about America's force. There's no question about our ability to project it. There's no question that we will sustain it as long as we remain as dedicated to our alliances as we are to our own strength and power. Thank you all for being here today, and let us also celebrate the motto of this ship: our liberties we prize, and our rights we will maintain. Our rights we will maintain. So fear the ghost. Thank you all.
Thank you, Senator Blumenthal. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable John Phelan.
Thank you. That's two tough acts to follow, but I will do my best. On behalf of the 47th President of the United States, it is my pleasure to welcome all the honored guests, distinguished officers, shipbuilders, crew, and proud Americans in attendance today. This marks my first commissioning ceremony as SECNAV, and it's a privilege to be here to introduce the newest attack submarine to our naval fleet, the USS Iowa, SSN 797. And there's no better place than Groton, Connecticut, the submarine capital of the world, to commission the next warship to join our warfighting Navy. Groton's rich maritime heritage is deeply embedded in the submarine community. I visited the yards yesterday, and it was one of the most impressive things I have seen. The facilities, the workers, and the public-private partnership that exists is truly world-class. Today's commissioning is a fitting tribute to Groton's enduring legacy of maritime excellence and its long-standing connection to the submarine industry. This is not just a milestone for USS Iowa, but a critical step forward in strengthening our Navy and ensuring America's global maritime dominance. The President and I are deeply committed to revitalizing our shipbuilding and maritime industrial base, and this commissioning is just the beginning of that effort. We need to modernize our acquisition and procurement systems to deliver the capabilities our Navy deserves without unnecessary delays or cost overruns. Our processes and decision-making must be faster and more efficient. I see many esteemed members of Congress here today, and I know they share these same goals. I'm committed to partnering with all of you to deliver results for our Navy and for our nation. Today is a representation of naval power, readiness, our ability to maintain superiority in the unforgiving depths beneath the rolling waves. It is a reminder that the Navy's strength is forged by those who serve the values they uphold and the sacrifices they stand ready to make in defense of our great nation. The name Iowa has long been synonymous with strength, resilience, and unwavering dedication to duty. And like the grit and tenacity of the Hawkeye State's early pioneers as they set out across the sprawling plains of Iowa, the sailors of the USS Iowa will embark with a similar mettle as they set forth on their mission. For nearly 250 years, the sea has left an indelible mark on history and the character of our nation. Make no mistake, naval warfare is evolving. Where battleships once ruled the seas, it is the silent strength of submarines that provides our Navy with an unmatched strategic advantage. The role of submarines in modern warfare is not just about strength, it's about deterrence. And as the Secretary of Defense and the President have made abundantly clear, peace through strength, enabled by strategic deterrence, remains a top priority mission for the Department of Defense and our nation. USS Iowa, a Virginia-class submarine, will be a force multiplier, capable of striking anywhere, gathering intelligence in contested waters, and ensuring that potential adversaries think twice before challenging American interests. Submarines ensure that no adversary can act with impunity, that our allies can rely on our strength, and that peace is preserved through our unwavering readiness. And the true power of submarines extends beyond their weaponry. It lies in the knowledge that they are always on patrol, maintaining undersea superiority, ready to respond at a moment's notice, embodying the spirit of silent service. In times of peace, submarines keep watch. In times of conflict, they strike with lethal precision. As your Secretary of the Navy, I am confident USS Iowa will carry out this important mission with honor and excellence, adding to the proud legacy of her name. But no ship, no matter how technologically advanced or intricately designed, is defined by steel and machinery alone. It is the sailors, our undersea warriors, who bring her to life, who will take her beneath the waves and who will ensure she lives up to her name and namesake. To the crew of the USS Iowa, your health, welfare, and training is one of my top priorities. You must be prepared to meet any challenge, execute the mission with precision, and return home safely to your families. Your dedication, skill, and warrior ethos will define this submarine's success. I have a personal mantra. You either own things or they own you. This applies to leadership, responsibility, and the mission ahead. And I know all of you will own your mission, own your success, own the fight, and meet the moment. You will carry forward a name already chronicled in the annals of history and will add to the history that through your own service. It also represents the unbreakable spirit of the warriors who serve our armed forces and the unwavering support of the people of the great state of Iowa. From the cornfields of the heartland to the depths of the world's oceans, this name carries with it pride of a nation that values hard work, integrity, and service. To the builders of this fine submarine, your craftsmanship, innovation, and dedication have created more than a vessel. You have forged the 377-foot, 7,800-ton Sentinel of the Sea, which is equipped with Tomahawk missiles and can travel speeds in excess of 25 knots. It's what one worker said to me, a can of whoop ass. It's pretty impressive. Iowa is truly a testament to American ingenuity and enterprise. Every weld, every system, and every bolt on this warship reflects your commitment and skill. And your work drives our submarine force and strengthens the security of our great nation. As we celebrate this remarkable achievement, I am committed to reforming how we acquire and build our ships and submarines. We must ensure that the process is faster, more efficient, and delivers the best technology to our sailors. I urge Congress to join me in pursuing the same goal, modernizing our acquisition system so that we can deliver the capabilities that our Navy needs, when they need them, without necessary delays or cost overruns. And as the USS Iowa joins the fleet and goes to sea, she does so with one mission: to ensure that America's adversaries think twice before testing our resolve. Emboldened on the Iowa state flag, USS Iowa's motto remains a promise that she stands to defend the freedoms we cherish, our liberties we prize, our rights we will maintain. May she sail strong, may she sail proud, and may she always return home safely. God bless USS Iowa and her crew. God bless the U.S. Navy, and God bless all of you in the United States of America. It is now my pleasure to introduce a leader with long-standing record of public service to Iowa, where she currently serves in the state's highest office. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the 43rd Governor of Iowa, Kim Reynolds.
Thank you, Secretary Phelan, for your leadership and for your words and for that kind introduction. And thank you for giving me the profound honor of speaking at the commissioning of the USS Iowa. It's a special privilege to do so here at the submarine capital of the world, Gorton, Connecticut. In a place like this, America's rich tradition of shipbuilding and maritime prowess is not mere history, but also a dynamic present. It's truly remarkable to see firsthand. In that spirit of admiration for our host, I want to acknowledge the Connecticut elected officials who are joining us today, Senator Richard Blumenthal and Representative Joe Courtney. And I also want to thank Iowa Representative Marionette Miller-Meeks for being here too, as well as all of the other elected officials, the Navy leaders, and our veterans and their families in attendance. We are so honored by your presence. In particular, my thanks to Admiral Darrell Cottle, Commander of the USS Fleet Forces Command, and Vice Admiral Robert Goucher, Commander of Submarine Forces. These senior Navy commanders, like countless others under their command, work tirelessly to protect our nation and its interest at sea. Thank you for your honorable service. I also want to acknowledge the USS Iowa Commissioning Committee, the many volunteers and private companies who have contributed time and treasure, and the ship's sponsor, Christy Vilsack, as well as her husband, former Ag Secretary and Iowa Governor Tom Vilsack. On behalf of our entire state, I couldn't be more grateful to all of you for your many efforts to make this remarkable day possible. And remarkable is exactly the right way to describe it. After nearly 8 years as governor, some occasions stand out as special reminders of the great privilege it is to serve. These powerful sights and experiences can often seem surreal. They've moved me, humbled me, inspired me. Often they've filled me with awe for the ideals and achievements of our great country, as well as a gratitude for the patriots who so bravely defend her. Today's ceremony is certainly one of those occasions, and in fact, it may very well top the list. This is a day that I will never forget. As an Iowan, it's powerful to stand here with this cutting-edge Virginia-class submarine behind me as it prepares to begin its decades of service bearing the iconic name USS Iowa. Like that name, this vessel embodies American ingenuity, industrial might, which have so frequently been the means of winning wars, preserving peace, and defending freedom throughout the world. In this case, countless people have set their minds and hands to writing this latest chapter of our nation's unmatched naval excellence, starting with the outstanding team at General Dynamics Electric Boat, led by its president, Mark Reha. That team, in turn, has been supported by numerous contractors in the Department of Defense Industrial Base, which spans nearly every state. Quite a few of these organizations, including many from Iowa, are with us today. So please join me in thanking them for their outstanding contribution to America's safety and security. President John Adams famously referred to the naval power he helped build as America's wooden walls. Today, those walls are no longer wooden but steel, and rather than rise above the surface of the sea, they often plunge deep beneath it, and yet they remain our nation's first line of defense, the tip of its spear, its stabilizing representative in a turbulent world. In just minutes, the new USS Iowa will officially begin carrying forward that proud tradition. It will do so through the skill and bravery of the American sailors, men and women alike, who will make up its first crew. They've volunteered to defend us, yet most of us have little understanding of the challenges and dangers that they may face in the course of their service. Perhaps it's that very uncertainty that most clearly reveals the priceless debt of gratitude we owe them. It underscores their remarkable courage and daring and inspires us to pray for their safe return. As one of the great military heroes of American history once said, "No man is entitled to the blessings of freedom unless he be vigilant in its preservation. The vigilance of these sailors will surely entitle them to all the blessings that freedom and a grateful nation can bestow." To Commanding Officer Greg Coy, Chief of the boat Dexter Buckley, and the entire USS Iowa crew, on behalf of those you protect, fair winds and following seas, Godspeed, and thank you for your selfless service. For Iowans, today's commissioning will spark memories of our state's numerous connections to the USS naval history. We learned these inspiring stories as school children. For some, they may have played a role in their own decision to enter the military. But for our entire state, landlocked though it is, they've fostered a genuine sense of ownership and pride in America's great Navy. There were, for example, the 5 Sullivan brothers, George, Frank, Joe, Matt, and Al, who served and died together when their cruiser was sunk at the Battle of Guadalcanal. They had entered their service with the assurance that the 5 of them would remain together, and they did exactly that until the very end. These heroic young men were later celebrated when 2 destroyers were named USS the Sullivans in their honor, the joint motto of those ships, "We stick together." In evoking the memory of those brave Iowa boys, it's a beautiful reminder of the enduring brotherhood that sets military service apart. And as everyone here knows, Iowa has left more than its share of other marks on naval history, too. Starting in the Civil War, our state has given its name to no fewer than 5 Navy ships, each with a fascinating story all its own. But none more so than the famous battleship Iowa, the only ship of its class to see action in both the Atlantic and Pacific theaters during World War II. Her long and fascinating career earned her nearly as many nicknames as decades in which she served: the Mighty Eye, the Big Stick, the Battleship of the Presidents, and the Gray Ghost, and this last one being the inspiration for the new ship's motto, "Fear the Ghost." In the 40s, the former USS Iowa protected Allied shipping in the North Atlantic from the best that the Axis navies had to offer, carried President Roosevelt to the Tehran Conference, and participated in the capture of several Japanese islands. Later, she served in the Korean War and wasn't decommissioned for the final time until the late 1980s. Fear and bravery, loneliness and camaraderie, tragedy and victory. All of this and more unfolded on the USS Iowa in her eventful life, which continues today as a museum ship in the Port of Los Angeles. This history matters to Iowans. The countless crew members, living and dead, who wrote that history matter to us. And that's why so many from our state, including many veterans, have made the 1,200-mile journey here to Gorton, Connecticut, to honor the much-loved name of USS Iowa, to see her amazing legacy continue by a vessel so worthy of that name, and to assure her crew and our country of the enduring affection, prayers, and goodwill of the state whose name she bears. May God bless the new USS Iowa and all who built her. May God bless her crew and give success to her mission. And may God bless Iowa and the United States of America. God bless you.
Thank you, Governor Reynolds. Secretary Phelan, sir, I would be honored if you would now place Iowa in commission.
On behalf of the President of the United States, I hereby place United States ship Iowa in commission. May God bless and guide this warship and all who shall sail in her.
Thank you, Secretary Phelan. Executive Officer, hoist the colors and commission pennant.
Aye, aye, sir. Iowa, attention. The commission pennant in professional national navies began to take form late in the 17th century. All ships at that time were sailing ships, and it was often difficult to tell a naval ship from a merchantman. Navies began to adapt long, narrow pennants to be flown by their ships at the mainmast head to distinguish themselves from merchant ships. The commission pennant will fly continuously until the ship is decommissioned. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. I direct your attention to the ship's sail as we hoist the colors and commission pennant. Quartermaster, hoist the colors and commission pennant.
Aye, aye, sir.
Captain, the colors and commission pennant are flying proudly over USS Iowa.
Very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
I will now read my orders. From Commander, Navy Military Personnel Command, to Commander Greg Coy, United States Navy. Subject, Buper's Order Number 7970 of 5 April 2025. When directed by Reporting Senior, detach from present duty and report to Pre-Commissioning Unit Iowa as Commanding Officer. Upon commissioning of USS Iowa, report for duty as Commanding Officer. Admiral Caudle, United States ship Iowa is in commission, and I am in command.
Very well, Captain. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Executive Officer, set the first watch.
Aye, aye, sir. Officer of the deck, set the first watch.
Aye, sir.
The officer of the deck is the commanding officer's direct representative, and while on watch, is responsible for the safety and smooth operation of the ship. The long glass is the traditional symbol of an officer of the deck's authority in a ship of the line. We are honored to have Commander Tim Shugart, United States Navy retired, and former crewman on BB-61 with us today. He will assist in setting the first watch by passing the long glass to our first ship's duty officer, Lieutenant Commander Vigneshwar Manikam from Germantown, Maryland. The petty officer of the deck is electronics technician navigation,
got my bachelor's of arts.
This is my country is up.
Governor Reynolds, thank you for your kind remarks and high praise. I especially appreciate the recognition of the accomplishments of the amazing crew that stands behind you. To our ship sponsor, Ms. Christy Vilsack, thank you for your years of dedication and service to our country. Your lifelong passion for education is fitting for a submarine sponsor, as continuous learning is a keystone of our profession. Thank you for your ardent support of this ship, this crew, and our families. To Doug McCrae, Matt Tanner, Tom Hudson, and all of the Iowa Commissioning Committee, thank you for your perseverance in seeing this event through from beginning to end. I appreciate everything you have done and hope to continue our special relationship for years to come. To Al Morales, Jason Lovell, the commissioning support team, and the staffs of Submarine Readiness Squadron 32, Submarine Squadron 4, Naval Submarine Base New London, and Naval Submarine School, thank you for your incredible efforts to make today happen. Today we will honor the Iowa and her current crew, but many came before. I would like to ask any former Iowa sailors to please stand and be recognized. There we go. There's a few. You stood the watch during some of the hardest times, before sea trials, before the ship was delivered to the fleet, before propulsion plant testing, and even before she could float. There is nothing easy about serving on a pre-commissioning unit, but you did it with a view towards the future, that someday Iowa would be a commissioned ship. I hope today that you look back on your service and your sacrifice with pride as you see the fruits of your labor before you. While I have the honor of being Iowa's plank owning commanding officer, the ship and the crew would not be here without those who came before me. Captain Quentin James and Commander Matt Powell. Quentin and Matt, you had the onerous task of building the Iowa, bringing together the pieces and the people to make a submarine and its crew. I am not jealous of your time in command, but the impact of your dedication and leadership has long outlived your tours of duty, and I am grateful for the strong foundation you provided. Thank you. As any sailor knows, a well-supported family at home is crucial to our success at sea. Iowa's home front is fortunate enough to be shored up by two incredible women, Holly Trimmer, our ombudsman, and Brenna Magda, our Family Readiness Group president. Ladies, if you could please stand so that we can recognize you. Holly. Holly and Brenna, thank you for your tireless efforts to support our families and bolster morale at home while the Iowa is away. We are truly in your debt. While we're on the subject of families, I want to thank every person who is here today to support one of the sailors standing behind me. Your dedication, courage, and sacrifice matches and often exceeds theirs, but typically goes unrecognized. A sailor at sea is always busy with watch, maintenance, drills, and training. There's little time for other things, and we are isolated in our little bubble. But for the sailor's family, life must go on as before. You still need to go to work, doctor appointments must be made, soccer games and parent-teacher conferences must be attended, lunches must be packed, and children ushered to and from school. When the sailor once again steps their foot on shore, these things are often forgotten, overcome by the joy of being home. I am a repeat offender of this. My wife, Maggie, has stayed the course for the last 16 years, and she's never missed a beat, while I, on the other hand, have missed at least 1 million thank yous. But I'll sneak one in here. Thank you for everything you do for me and our family. I wouldn't be here today without you. And to every spouse, partner, mother, father, brother, and sister, and all others who support a sailor, thank you for doing all the things that go unspoken. Now for the real reason we are here, to welcome a new warship and her crew to the fleet. While writing this speech, I was overcome with the momentousness of the occasion, and I had trouble figuring out what to say. But I began fixating on the order that our ship sponsor just gave us. Man the ship and bring her to life. It is simple, concise, and perfectly represents the meaning of this ceremony. For what is a ship without a crew to operate it? I can tell you a little about Iowa. She is over 7,000 tons of steel, a maze of meandering wires and pipes, a visual cacophony of computers, switches, gauges, and valves, deadly quiet, a marvel of engineering powered by a nuclear reactor, able to strike fear in the hearts of any foe, and all of that designed to sink beneath the ocean and come back to the surface again safely. If you tour the ship later today, you will be in awe of the organized chaos that is a modern submarine, and you will wonder how it all works. But she is a lifeless object. Left to her own devices, she will sit at this pier, the dust will gather, the paint will fade, and the metal will rust. It is the crew that brings her to life. These women and men standing before you, these sailors who volunteered to serve their country and then volunteered again to be submariners. These sailors who persisted through the trials and tribulations of building a warship and taking her to sea for the first time. These sailors who have faced the challenges of an uncertain future. They are the crew of the USS Iowa, and they are why we are here today. So to the crew, words cannot express how proud I am of each one of you. When you cast off lines for Iowa's maiden voyage on November 4th, you were novices, unsure of yourselves as your sea legs wobbled beneath you. But you were well trained and eager to succeed, and succeed you did. Every challenge thrown in your direction was met with an insatiable desire to learn and improve. You grew by leaps and bounds through triumph and adversity. You are now what I would describe, borrowing the unmistakable words of our weapons officer, a crack team of top men and women. Confident, competent, efficient, and when necessary, deadly. You are the heart and soul of United States Ship Iowa, and I wouldn't go to sea with anyone else. All of us here today should be overwhelmed with pride and brimming with confidence in the future of this mighty warship, the submarine force, and our Navy. For I have no doubt that in a time of strife, as Iowa is tossed about by tempestuous seas, this crew will ensure she steadies with upright keel and proceeds silently, alone on a wide, wide sea, to do the work that only submariners can do. Iowa, attention. Fight Iowa. Thank you.
Will the guests please rise? Chaplain McGraw will deliver the benediction.
Let us pray. Eternal Father, strong to save, as this ceremony ends and a life of commissioned service begins, we ask you to bless this warship and all who will sail in her. May she be strong and true, worthy of her proud name and the nation's trust. Grant that in her silence, Iowa would allow many to hear the sounds of peace and prosperity. And let her unseen presence help all to see the blessings of freedom more clearly. May all adversaries learn to fear the ghost. And may she bring calm to troubled waters and always come safe home. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain McGraw. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated and remain seated for the departure of our official party.